This weekend, I've had a crazy weekend, but I'm going to do our live in segments now, so that we can really get the most out of it. If you're listening to this live, then you know what I'm going to be talking about, and if you're going to tune in later, then you know exactly how the live is going to go. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to talk about the health tip for the week. I'm going to discuss a post, and today I'm going to discuss making your ghee right, getting your ghee right. And then the third thing I'm going to discuss is something new that I learned today. And then we can take a little bit of Q&A. It's not going to be super long, but we're going to do this, right? So the health tip of the week, the health tip of the week is regarding Karwa Chauth. A lot of people are fasting. A lot of people have already fasted. So what is the tip? When you go into this fasting season, whether it's Navratri or whether it's Karwa Chauth, and especially this all begins and then kind of culminates with Diwali and festivities, and of course this is for the Indian population, the one tip that I do want to give is when you're not eating, right? When you're not eating according to what you're used to, your metabolic activity gets confused. Your metabolism, when you've stayed hungry for a while, your Agni goes down, your digestive fire, because your enzymes come up, look for food, your body's intelligence looks for food and realizes that it's not coming. At that point, it kind of lowers its enzyme production because it can't find any food. As a result, there's a moment that you feel very hungry when you're fasting in the day. You're just like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Hopefully you have enough electrolytes from the day so you don't get weak from the previous day. As the evening hits, right, and a lot of fasts, whether it's Ramzan or it's Karwa Chauth, you are allowed to eat a dinner. As you reach evening, you're mentally very hungry because you feel like you've not eaten all day and you want to make up for it. But your body is not ready for that food. Your Agni, which came up and looked for food, your body's intelligence, kind of took it back. Because if those enzymes were to hang out in your gut, you would start feeling nauseous, you would feel heartburn, and you would even get ulcers in your own system. So your enzymes have kind of gone back and your body is not ready to digest. Now you're mentally hungry, but your body can't eat a lot of food. So my tip for this is when you're fasting in the day or you're dieting or doing any of that stuff, and then when you finally eat, don't go to town. I know as a young girl, and we used to fast on the last day of our certain fast, and I would dream of all of these amazing things that I wanted to eat the next day. And the next day, my body would be intelligent enough to have lower metabolic activity. And when I tried to eat all those great things because I was mentally hungry, they actually didn't sit well with my system at all and in fact hurt me. So now since I understand the scientific, the Ayurvedic, logical explanation, I wanted to share it. So for all of those of you who are fasting, allow your body to gradually take in foods, to eat smaller quantities, to chew in better. If you don't eat a full dinner or a full meal one day, your body can take a break. Not a problem, but don't go to town. That was my health tip for the day. I'm going to now talk about how do you get your ghee right. I have not responded to a lot of people kind of messaged me about how do I know if my ghee is right? Like how do I know that this is granular? So I'll tell you the right process of making ghee, and I'll also talk about at what point do you find out that the ghee is, at what point do you find out that the ghee is ready or not, right? So if you're making ghee at home, you want to use cultured butter. Use full fat, good quality cultured butter. If you can get organic butter, amazing. Melt your ghee on a low flame. Put it in a pot, melt it on a low to a medium flame. And you'll see that the butter starts off opaque, becomes translucent. There becomes a point when the butter becomes transparent. It's all clear and it's cooking. And the top has become slightly frothy. Now at that point your ghee is not granular, but it's cooked. It's cooked full when it's become fully transparent and the top has become slightly frothy and it's not turned brown. That's the point that you turn the flame off. If you go on too much, you're going to burn your ghee. And if you turn off your ghee at that point, and you let it sit and you let it cool down, when it kind of condenses, and you take it in a spoon, right? If it's very hot, it's not going to condense. It's going to stay liquid. But if it's not very hot and you keep it in a cool, dry place and it condenses and you take it with a spoon, you're going to see it has a texture to it. It's not like butter. It has a texture. When I say granular, that is the texture that I'm talking about. And that's the texture that you want to make sure that you get when you basically make your ghee. Now the third part, the third conversation we're having is something new that I learned today, and or like something that I understood today. And this is for all the women out there, right? There's more for the women than the men, but it's a very useful thing. So according to Ayurveda and according to the Hindu texts, when you have your periods, when you are in your menstrual cycle, you actually don't go into water. And the reason for that, why is that? So why is it contraindicated? Not because you're going to make your water impure, because a lot of people, and we've all done that, right? We'll put on a tampon and we go into the water. And while that's fine once in a while, you don't actually do that because that's not a practice you want to have. Water lowers the movements of your fluids in your body, right? When there's more pressure outside and there's less pressure of the water inside your body, of the fluids in your body, when there's more density of the water outside and lesser density inside, the fluids are not moving as freely as they should move. And part of that function is so your body can really kind of relax and be in water. You also know that your blood pressure becomes lower if you spend a lot of time in water. So it becomes lower because the movement, right? The pressure, okay, somebody's really loud here. I'm out. I was here. Okay, and so your blood pressure becomes lower, and so basically, if you have your periods and you go into water, then the flow is going to be lowered and it's going to become scanty and it's not going to be as smooth. Do it once in a while, not going to kill you, but if you do it repeatedly, that's what happens. If you're going into your tub, you're going into your shower. I'm surprised to see that I have no questions so far, but now this brings us to the Q&A. While we do that, I'm going to give you guys some other thing that I did this weekend. So I had celebrations after celebrations this weekend. One of the nights was just 3-4 hours of sleep for me, and that was crazy. Plus I was on my toes. I mean, somehow my body didn't feel exhausted, but I just want to tell you what I do is when I have one of these nights, right? When I have one, of course, we all want to avoid those nights, but sometimes you do. And when I have these nights, what I do is I will get a massage in the day. I freely invest in getting massages as frequently as I need to. Sometimes it is once a week. Mostly it's at least once a week where I can actually go into a facility and get a full body massage. And I want to tell everybody out there, if you can get regular foot massages, if you can get regular body massages, you're actually buying yourself like 5 to 10 years of youth. You're actually lowering the way your body ages. It's one of the most amazing things to do. And you want to do it with, you definitely want to do it with oil whenever you can. So for me, even if I'm having a busy day, I will take my laptop and I will get a foot massage. Getting foot reflexology, when they press all those points which have meridians that connect to all parts of your body. And just today I have come to air baths in New York. Had an amazing experience. One of my BFFs, Bijal, took me out here for my birthday. I've spent 5 hours here, and I would actually 4 hours, and I'm ready to actually do more, but I guess we're going to call it a day. Okay, I see we have some questions, so I'm going to answer. What can pittas use for oil pulling? Pittas can use coconut oil for oil pulling. Best home remedy for cold and sinus apart from steam. I would say steam is the best remedy, to be honest with you. I do like to do neti if you don't have a lot of inflammation. I do encourage my girls to gently at least put saline water, even if the whole neti doesn't come out, so that it can disintegrate the phlegm here. And then you take a little steam followed with nasya. You do this twice a day, you're set. Can I break the fast with warm water, lime and ginger? Greg Mar Yoga, you bang on. With warm water and a pinch of dried ginger is brilliant. Like, it's the best way to bring up your Agni when you want to break a fast. That's what you do. Even if it's an intermittent fast, your body will thank you. If you sip by sip start there, it'll build up your appetite. Once in a while, lemon is fine too, depending on your body. Can we use Kansa wand for feet massage daily? Yes, Sam Jindal, and I would love if you added ghee to that Kansa. You put ghee on your feet and then you use the Kansa wand. It will take off all this excess heat in your body. It's a brilliant idea. In fact, I'm going to give it as one of my health tips next time. I'm going to go down and see if there's any more questions. Can we do nasya with cow ghee? You don't want to do. Deepika, I'm not going to take that question of water chestnuts, really, because I'm not going to get into such specific questions. It generally should be cooling, but I don't want to start taking up questions like this. Can we do nasya with cow ghee? You can do nasya. No, you can't do nasya with cow ghee for the most part because ghee condenses very quickly. And this is a whole kapha region. So the ghee will go in, condense, it will actually clog your system. Not a big fan. Once in a while, you can put the ghee inside. Okay, Nisha is asking, is there no-nos when you have a cold and on your period? I think the whole period protocol and the whole cold protocol, you combine the two and they all become no-nos, whatever those are. I would say rest it out. You're on your period, you have a cold, take steam, rest it out, don't take long baths. Just really eucalyptus oil it, enjoy it, make your life a spa. I have this thing where I turn everything into a spa experience. My labor and delivery were actually spa experiences when I was in the labor room at Mount Sinai in New York. There were nurses on the floor who were entering my room because they could hear spa music and aromatherapy coming, and they're like, "What's going on here?" And I had a playlist, and I had aromatherapy, and I had created that. So every time, I think, like, turn anything that's boring for you into a spa experience. These days I've been writing, and I put on an incense. 2 minutes. I put on an incense sticks. I put on my incense sticks. I've created this whole area, and I that's what I do, and I'm super exciting for me. What else do you use for daily abhyanga? I mean, look, there's a lot of medicated oils that I like, abhyanga oils, but what you can do is use coconut for a hot body or hot weather, and you can use sesame for a cold body or cold weather. Okay, I'm going to only take questions that are going to be useful for all. So what is the solution for sweet cravings during periods? Is you make, and I've said this actually before, I'm going to say it again, you make a mixture of desiccated coconut, cane sugar, roasted almonds, and fennel seeds. Fennel seeds, very important, crushed fennel seeds. And you keep it in a jar, and you take a spoon after meals or whenever it's because fennel seeds are sweet inherently, so is coconut. It's going to satisfy your craving, but you have to do excess chewing. Plus, it's going to build up your agni, so it's going to satisfy you, hopefully satisfy the craving, build up your agni. It's going to stay in your mouth for a long time. It's also going to cool your system, so it's going to do all cool things. Is there any Ayurvedic book to learn about potency of foods? You know what? Do my Ashtanga Hridayam course. We're going to do a lot of that. You're going to learn about how you can assess the potency of the food. I'm going to teach that in the course, and it's going to be amazing. But otherwise, I know Vasant Lad has a cookbook. At the back of it, there are charts. What oil for abhyanga for a hot body and cold weather? You can switch between. You would still do coconut, but if it gets really, really cold, you want to do sesame. Which fruit should be avoided when constipated? That's a very general question. Generally apples, unless you cook them. Okay, I guess we have no more questions and we are done. I was kind of in supersonic speed today. I can't talk about ADHD. I have an article on it as well, but we shall do it for sure. I hope that was useful, and we had the health tip in the beginning. We had how to do your ghee, and something new that I learned today. All right, guys, we shall talk. Divya, what did you ask? What did I miss? The Arjun tea good, I'm not answering because everything is good for somebody in some situation. And everything. Divya Dhaka. Okay, I'm going to try and turn back and see if it's very specific. I'm not going to answer because it's not fair to others, and I don't. Divya, I've missed it. I'm sorry. If you can type it again, great. Otherwise, we will take it next time. All right, guys. I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous weekend. Oh, Prerna, I'll tell you how to consume paddy puffed rice. You want to, you can do it many ways. You can even actually have it with plain milk, but you can just cook it really quick and it melts very quickly. But then you can have the gruel. You can put in a little bit of salt, a little bit of parsley, and you can have that, and it really gives a lot of strength. I asked, my stomach is always tight and feel something is stuck. You have distension. You know, the two things that you can have that can happen. There's a condition called udara, where if it's super tight and bloated, there's a blocking and water has accumulated. But Divya, I don't want to get into big details, but you should go to a doctor if it's always like that. What A2 ghee do you recommend in the US? For me, I actually sometimes get A2 ghee from India, but you can also use the butter. Where am I? I am in New York. That's where I am. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for always joining on a last minute call. And we will come back next weekend. I will not be out. I will be at home so we can have a longer conversation. All right, guys. Have a great weekend.